When we talk about having a limitless mindset or shifting our mindset, what we're really talking about is energy because our thoughts, our mindset, all of it is just a different form of energy. And sometimes when we put it in those terms, it seems less daunting to actually try to shift it. What we're doing is we're moving energy in a way that is empowering and that breaks the chains of the limitations that once seemed so intense or seemed so like they were so big we couldn't move them. So we're going to have a shift around that today. Come and join me for this conversation. This is actually part 2. We're talking about breaking the chains, embracing a limitless mindset for your dreams and goals. If we've never met before, I'm Lisa. I'm one half of the duo over here at Rise Leadership Circle, and our mission is to expand you into new levels of owning your value, your power, and your worth so you can become well paid and prosper. Okay, so let's jump in. In part 1, we took a deep dive at what are some of those limiting beliefs that are really holding us back in our life. And we got clear on what it is. What are those thoughts? What are those things, those beliefs that you've been holding on to that are actually keeping you playing small? And by bringing them to our awareness, we're actually able to shift them because once we're aware, we don't let them drive the bus anymore. They don't get to continue on underneath the surface. So if you've missed part 1, I highly recommend you go back and check it out. I left you with some powerful exercises to do. And then let's go ahead and jump in. If you've not listened to part 1 yet, that's okay. You can jump right in today and go back and catch that later. So today we're talking about what is a limitless mindset. What does it mean? So this is where the chains break. Think about what are some of the energetic chains that feel like they're holding you back right now. These are things like fear or self-doubt, or maybe, you're rooted into a belief of something not being possible for you. Maybe you see it as possible for other people, but you haven't been believing that it's true for you. Or you've been looking at what are some of those things that, feel like you haven't been able to do in the past. So when we are free of those thoughts, because those are simply thoughts, when we're free of those thoughts, that's when the chains break. That's when you truly are free to create the life that you want to have. And when our mindset is without limits, it's like what was once impossible now becomes available to us. It's like opening up a whole new world, or it's like we're still in the same world, but suddenly what's available to us has just shifted. So I want to talk about having a mindset with no boundaries, right? An unlimited mindset, no boundaries about what's possible, what you can do. And just, if you're already feeling resistance to this, I invite you just to let that resistance be there and stay in the conversation with me. I want to get us started with a coaching conversation because I always invite you to listen to these episodes and have them be actionable. Don't just listen to learn, but actually integrate them into your life. Take a few bold steps and let it really change you. So the coaching question I have for you today, write this in your journal or put it in the notes app of your phone and go back to it later. So answer this for you. What does having a mindset without boundaries open up for me? And just journal out your answer to that question because it's important to know yourself as you go through this process and to let this work shift you as you listen. So you could pause and you could do this now, or you can simply come back to it. But what does having a mindset without boundaries open up for me? I'd love to hear your shares as well. I love it when you guys reach out, send me a DM, let me know what comes up for you through the process. So how do we get to a place where our mindset is limitless? I think that this is more of a practice. It doesn't just mean that one day suddenly, we've cultivated this limitless mindset and we never have a limiting belief again. Unfortunately, it doesn't typically work that way. But we can practice it and we can begin to create a shift and a space where we feel limitless more of the time. So let's talk about the how. How can you really cultivate this limitless mindset? One of the things that I think is super supportive is to start setting audacious goals for yourself. Set some audacious goals. Those goals that are like kind of ridiculous, that you might even, look at these goals and you're like, what? Like, I don't even know if I believe that yet. That's okay. It's okay. Actually, if you're setting goals that you know how to do, that you know exactly how to get there, they're probably not big enough yet. And while yes, it is important to believe that your goals are possible for you, we have to also stretch the limits of our beliefs sometimes so that we can get there. So set some audacious goals. Ask yourself right now, is my vision big enough? Am I really dreaming big enough for what's actually possible for me in this life? And your goals are your goals, so whatever that is for you. But can you go bigger? Can you start to set some goals that stretch the limits of your own belief? So go back to part 1 if you need to, and take on the work that I shared in there. We talked about visualizing. So once you've set those big goals, create a powerful visualization practice. You don't have to be great at visualizing. You don't necessarily have to feel like you're an intuitive. You just have to have a little bit of imagination and start to daydream, start to imagine your big audacious dreams and goals coming true. And give yourself the opportunity to really be in this work daily, even if you only have a few minutes. I promise you, it is so powerful, it'll change you. So start to take this on. Create 5 minutes a day. If you have longer, that's great, but at least 5 minutes. And remember, we talked about this last time, be clear on the thoughts you'll no longer practice. If you've been practicing thoughts about how this can happen for you, you want to be clear on what those are so that when they come up, you'll see it and you'll say, not going to go there, not going to keep practicing that thought. Let me choose something else. So that's one way. Set bigger goals. Do those visualization techniques. The second thing that can really help you have a limitless mindset, and I feel like this one could be kind of surprising, is start embracing failure as a learning opportunity. So when we embrace failure, we take the fear out of it. A lot of times what is limiting us is this fear of failure. We're so afraid of what will happen if we fail, if we don't hit our goal. And so for people who really have more of a limitless mindset, when they no longer fear failure, the sky's the limit. We talk a lot about this work when we talk about processing our emotions and this willingness to be with all emotions on the emotional guidance scale. And this is part of that work. So I want you to start embracing failure and seeing it as, this is just an opportunity for me to learn. So we don't need to see failure. We can see this as, great, now I know more, let me go again, right? Setbacks are just opportunities to learn and to keep growing and to keep going. The people who you see around you who are the most successful have had just as many setbacks as you have. The only difference is they've just kept going for longer. So embracing failure can actually really support you to stretch the limits of your mindset and to ask yourself, you can create this reframe in the moment of like, how could I see this differently? How can I see this launch that didn't work out or this client that said no as an opportunity for me to get better, as an opportunity for me to learn something? The third thing is, and I want to really have this one land for you, this is the shift around energy, is what are you allowing energetically to come into your space? Let's just start by talking about inputs. So what information are you allowing into your mindset? It's just like, if you want to change your health, you think about what you're eating and what you're putting in. You want to be free from toxins. You want to be eating in a way that supports your well-being and gives you energy. And our thoughts are exactly the same. What are you allowing in? Do you need to eliminate maybe some negative friendships in your life that, I'm not saying you need to push people out of your life. I'm not a big proponent of that, but do you need to start spending less time with people who are bringing you down? Maybe pay attention to what are you listening to or what are you reading? Are you listening to a specific maybe channel on the news that every time you listen, you find yourself getting full of anxiety and full of fear? So we need to, I'm not saying we shouldn't listen to the news, that's totally great, but is it a source that feels good for you? And you can do this with anywhere in your life. It's like, okay, great. If I really think about all of the energy that I allow to come into my mind, is it positive or negative? And can I eliminate or can I replace some of the things that feel toxic to my mind? Sometimes it's just the subtlest shifts that can make the biggest difference. So when we're speaking about energy is literally everything. Our thoughts are energy. Our beliefs are simply a form of energy. So what I recommend you do is you consciously choose an energetic set point. An energetic set point is a bit of a reset button. Okay, so the first way I'll explain this is It's a lot like your thermostat on the wall. And I know we've spoken about this here before, but I want you to think about this right now in terms of energy as it relates to thoughts and beliefs. So it's a lot like a thermostat on your wall. You set it for 70 degrees and there can still be fluctuations, right? It still could get too cold or it still could get too hot, but that thermostat is regulated to kick on and bring things back to status quo. That's how your energy set point works for you. You consciously choose, what is my internal energetic set point? Where do I choose to be? That I know that if I need a reset, this is the place that I always recalibrate back to. So I'll give you an example for mine. For me, my energetic set point is currently lighthearted presence. Lighthearted presence. That's that's the frequency that I want to be on. That is the energy that I want to vibrate to. It's lighthearted presence. And I want to bring it to everything that I do, which means if I'm spending time on social media, I want to bring lighthearted presence. If I'm speaking to you, that's what I want to bring. If I'm with my family, that's what I want to bring. Now, this doesn't mean that I walk around all day, every day in bliss. I still have all the fluctuations. I have all of the emotion. But when I notice that I'm in a space where I'm not feeling good, this is the energetic set point that I'm recalibrating back to. It's what I'm consciously choosing. So this is actually really your creative power. This is an energetic standard, right? My energetic standard is lighthearted presence. And if that's the standard I'm living my life by, that's the creative power, because that's energy. It's the creative power that I actually am building my life with. So we have to actually have standards for our energy, right? We have standards for our relationship. We have standards for our values. We have standards for our money. Like, we have standards in all kinds of places in our lives, and we need to do the same with our energy. So what is that set point for you that you're choosing? And maybe spend a little bit of time with this. What are you claiming and calling in? Because that is your creative power. And when we set an intention, and by the way, there have been beautiful studies have been done on this about the power of intention and scientifically measuring what happens when we send our intentions into different things, into people, into circumstances, even into like war-torn areas, like helping shift greater levels of peace. There have been a lot of different studies done on this. And our intentions really are, to me, an energetic container. So when we set an intention, we set energy in motion. And so when we have this energetic set point around our thoughts and our beliefs, and I'm choosing lighthearted presence, it allows me to reset back to that anytime I find myself spending too much time into self-doubt or fear or any of the other emotions that come up. I still have them, I still experience them, but I have a place to go. So I want you to consider what that is for you. What are the energetic inputs you're putting in? And what is your reset point? What is your energetic standard that you're going to claim that really supports you to live this limitless life in your way of thinking, in your way of being? And then the fourth thing really is we have to practice, right? This is a practice of cultivating a new way of thinking, a new way of choosing our energy, a new way of being in the world in order to have a limitless mindset. So it doesn't mean that we just choose it, boom, it happens overnight. It's just like anything else, right? It's a continual practice that we keep returning back to. And the more we practice it, the stronger this muscle gets. So again, when we're talking about mindset, we really truly are talking about energy. And if you can start to see this as energy, it's much less daunting. We're simply talking about moving invisible energy for you. And you can do this by setting an intention and by practicing that intention and choosing your thoughts. So this is how affirmation and prayer and meditation work, right? It actually creates a shift in energy, which then goes out into the greater world and makes an impact. The other thing that can be really supportive with this is invite in energy from your spiritual team. And when I say spiritual team, it's whatever that means to you. For me, I personally believe that we all have an invisible spiritual team of support. We have like a spiritual support team that is always guiding us, whether you see this as angelic or, whatever your origin of faith or your belief is. I believe that we can always ask for support from the invisible realms and from those who guide us. So consider as well that you can invite in this support, and that when you set that powerful intention, you're helping to set this energy of a limitless mindset in motion as well. And it can really support you on the journey so that you can move through things faster, so that you can shift things. So in order for all of this to create a bigger impact in our life, it's not enough just to have a limitless mindset, right? We've got to put some action behind it. So this is your invitation to get into action on manifesting your dreams and your goals. Everything starts as thought. We talked about this last time. Your phone or your computer or whatever device that you're listening to me on right now, this once started as a thought in someone's mind. And now it's here in the world of physical form. And everything that you want to create is the same. So it starts as energy, it starts as thought. So make sure you're spending time in the visualization process. But then you need to also get into action when you feel inspired. And the thing is that if you do this work, you will have inspirations. You're going to have ideas. You're going to get excited about something. May not even make sense. Sometimes for me, it's like, oh, I need to reach out to that person, and I don't even know why. Or I feel called to read something or listen to something, and then it completely makes sense. It leads me to the next right action that I needed to take. So we have to be willing to take bold action, to do the brave thing and the scary thing. And even if we don't know how it's all going to work out, we just get into a space of trust and we take that big leap. So challenge yourself every single week. Am I taking big action? Am I believing? When we believe, when we don't place limits on our beliefs, we're more likely to actually take those bold steps. So for me in my life, what has happened when I have set an intention has been so profound. I was trying to think, I have so many examples, from paying off debt, that seemed impossible and it just seemed like it was never going to go away, to setting a really clear intention around it and then having money flow in and things shift and being able to just see it paid off so much more quickly than I had ever imagined that it would. Even building this company at Rise Leadership Circle, it started with a powerful intention. We had no idea how or who or what this would turn into. And we just followed that inspired action, just trusting, believing, and to see this come together in such a powerful and beautiful way just has been so incredible. Even manifesting, working with our coach this year, we had an intention for the coach we really wanted to work with. It was a huge stretch for us. And we set that powerful intention and the doors just opened. These are tiny examples of, I feel like I have so many more, and I see this happen with my clients all the time. The power of intention when we take the limits off is incredible, and it's always mind-blowing. Last week I mentioned a book called The Awakened Woman. Let me know if you guys picked it up. I want to hear from you and tell me if you like it. It's by an author named Dr. Tara Wright Trent. She's such an example of a limitless mindset. You guys, the odds that were stacked against her, the place that she started from, any one of us most likely would have said, well, it's impossible. It's impossible. I can't shift out of this place. She had an 8th grade education. She was married as a teenager. I think she was 18, already had maybe 3 kids. I might be getting the story a little bit wrong. And she had a dream of coming to America. She lived in this tiny, tiny town, I believe, in Africa. And she is now, a doctor, a PhD, living here in the US. And what she did to get here was incredible. She just didn't see limits. She always found a way. And so if you need some inspiration, go and read that book. It is so inspiring and such a fun read to, it makes us look at I can't, what are my challenges? These are nothing. Look at what she's overcome. So I'd love to hear some examples from you too. Have you had some mind-blowing experiences where you've set an intention and then boom, the right answer appeared and it seemed like it came through faster than you could even imagine? For me now, I've seen it happen so often and so many times. I don't need scientific proof. I just have enough evidence in my own life of the power of energy and our intentions and our thoughts and our beliefs. And that's the work that I do every day, all day with my clients, is we're continuously just practicing these powerful beliefs. So if you want to know more about the work that we do, this is exactly what we do inside of our private membership community at Rise Leadership Circle, where we're really looking at how to become limitless in your mindset. We're removing the self-doubt and the fear and the obstacles that hold you back. And you're in this beautiful, supportive container. One-on-one private coaching is included. We're doing weekly expansion parties to expand your mindset, to expand your mindset around money and wealth. And The connections, the collaborations are so beautiful and so rich. So we open the doors at different times throughout the year. At the time it airs, I'm not sure if it'll be open or no matter what when you hear this, but you can always jump on the wait list and we'll notify you when the doors open again. You can always send me a direct message if you have questions. But we've been able to create this in our community for a fraction of the cost that private one-on-one coaching costs for you. But yet you get this whole community and you get 2 one-on-one coaching sessions a month. So if you want to know more about it, definitely reach out and let me know. It is a community full of soulful entrepreneurs who are really interested in growing their life and their business in a way that feels in total alignment with who they are and busting past their mindsets. So I want to leave you guys with a little bit of a call to action today. Because again, let this work change you. Let it make a difference for you. Make a commitment right now. I want you to make a commitment to break the chains. Identify for yourself, what are the chains that have been holding you back? Make a commitment that today you begin the process of making that shift. And ask yourself, what shift will you take, even if it's just one? What shift will you take that this video inspired you or this podcast inspired you to jump into? And lastly, I want you to answer this question for yourself. What would be possible for you with no limits? What could you do if you were to take the limits off your mindset? I have a free gift for you. You guys can download a free meditation from me, and this is going to help you step into that visualization process. It's going to help you with those big dreams and goals that you have to be in this energetic space to find your way there faster. We'll talk more about the energetic set point in some future videos. If you guys have questions on that, let me know so I can be sure to speak into that. And as always, you guys, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to this so you never miss an episode. Please tell a friend if you have a friend who really needs to do this. We're here every single week sharing some information to just really support you to grow in your journey as a human, in your journey as a leader, or in your journey as an entrepreneur. So let us know if there's ever any topics we can speak into for you that would really support you most. And go ahead and grab that meditation. All right, you guys, I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.